And welcome back, everybody. Gears Pro League Split 1, day number 7. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Colin the Crow Clark. Hey, he's doing the eyebrow thing. I don't know if he's The Rock, don't know if he's confused or inquisical. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what Colin's ever thinking at any point in time. It seems clear cut, but it never is. Colin, it's been a great night, though. How you feeling, brother? We're moving into our second series, Hive versus eUnited.
You know the levels of adrenaline that are coursing through my veins seeing these two teams on my screen right now.
I'm honest.
These hands right now could take on the world because I literally have like a bunch of my favorite humans about to play each other. Like we got Ness rolling out of spawn. I get Lava. I get Kenny. I get Powerz. I get Demise. I'm happier than a pig in mud, boy. I tell you that much.
Well, let's go ahead and, I guess, see how happy you are. Let's talk about Hive, at least the first roster. Guys that you do believe in. I know you love seeing Lava play. Yachty Cellz thing, too. You called him Ness, obviously. Goes by both. So if you see Ness on your screen, just know that it's Cellz. But either way, this is your Hive roster. Now, as much as you love them, Colin, you can't disagree with me. They've been having their struggles.
They've been having a ton of struggles right now, and I think a lot of that is having to understand their player positioning and personnel. Lava and Cellz, they have a guy in Thing 2 that used to be a coach. They're giving him a shot on the big stage, and it's one of those situations where Thing 2 has to come a very long way in a very short amount of time. Yachty is going to handle his business. Yachty's been on a bunch of pro teams. He's played the game for a long time. He's always had that level of talent. Thing 2, to go from coach to now having to roll out a spawn next to these guys, that's a big difference because you might have a big brain and you might not understand how to take every fight, but you might not have the reps these other dudes have. You might not have just that ready to go every single solitary moment, be ready to fire and pop off for you the rest of your squad. And I think that's the biggest issue on their struggle. I'm not saying that Thing 2 is not up to snuff. I'm not giving him disrespect. I'm just saying that I think is the difference, and you got to lean that way. You got to look that way because if you've watched any of these matchups, Cellz is giving it, I would say 200%. Like he's giving it more than an average human can give it right now. And I don't want to say I feel bad for him because he's still in Pro League, but there are times where I'm like, my God, somebody reach out and give the man a hand. I need some help.
I need some help for sure. Now, one team that doesn't need help, who's been looking very strong, of course, I'm talking about eUnited. And Colin, I know you said your adrenaline was pumping, and I'm sure it's because of these boys right here. Powerz, Kenny, TJ, and Demise.
This squad right here might just possibly be one of the most evil concoctions since Frankenstein's monster. Because Kenny and Powerz, after they lose Praised and Explosive, said, what can we do to stay on top, to fight for a championship? TJ and Demise just hanging out, just over there in the corner.
Yeah.
And they come over from Hive, and it's not necessarily like Wonder Twin powers activate. It's not exactly the Avengers. They're still working on getting to the Avengers. This is a lot like the Legion of Doom because they spell doom and gloom for a lot of people. You got 4 what I would call supervillains because all these guys, they got superpowers. You've seen them pop off at any given time and moment, and people seem to always look past them. They got to get over a couple of humps. We've seen their struggles against teams like Noble. We've seen their struggles against teams like Rise. And then just in E-Days, we saw what happened against the Pittsburgh Knights. This is a squad that has all that potential, has all that power, has all those good looks, just can't get it over, man. Just can't get it.
You know, I think eUnited's in a good spot, though. Probably the best look they've had in quite some time. And I've been saying that. I do think this roster is going to be scary, not only tonight, but also for the rest of Pro League and obviously heading into the major. And one of those guys that has always been scary and has never had it, at least in my opinion, a lackluster performance is Powerz. And he's going to be our player to watch tonight. He is 2.29 when it comes to KDA, 5th overall. Tons of damage coming out for damage per respawn, which I want to point out, by the way, he's only 26th with 15k damage. That is truly impressive. Since that stat was added, it's been great to see how high that number can go. So even though he's only 26, make no mistake, 15.4k damage per respawn is truly an exciting thing to see. And damage per execution still just as high at 7.3k. That just comes to show me that even though Powerz is impressive in his own right, there's players that are better than him when it comes statistically wise or statistical wise. Like, this pro league is stacked to the max.
This pro league is got so many good players in it, but that's what you get, my brother. When you take it from 12 to 10,
right,
and you take away 8 pro league spots, you're going to get even more cannibalization. You're going to get even more pros fighting to just be in this spot. This is one of those situations where you've really cut off all the fat. If you add oil and water, you know how water always sinks below oil because they're different densities. You know how that works. You know, it's the science.
I do. Yes.
Literally, all we got left in this league is oil. It ain't watered down at all.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. I didn't know what you're... Look, I told you, I can't tell the difference between a rock and a ficus, but I know for sure oil does float on top of water, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at our maps and see what water we're going to be working with.
Did you call me a ficus?
I said I don't know the difference between a rock and a ficus.
We'll be
now,
fighting.
if you want to call yourself a ficus, then you got an identity issue, and I'm not even going to touch that. Ritual to start off on control. Now, Hive picks it. Fair enough. It is a good map, I think, for both rosters. You know, obviously, eUnited, the heavy favorite here. It's just the way it's going to be, much like Pioneers was when they played against KCP. Tomb Execution, though, that is one that eUnited has been playing on quite a bit. So, going to be a fun 3 maps, even with TGB and Escalation. Honestly, I'm liking the opening maps for both rosters, if I had to be completely honest.
Well, this is going to be interesting because eUnited, they really have had to play through those same challenger tournaments like Hive did, so they understand what's going to be coming in that control on Ritual. The rest of these maps have been in the rotation for a long time, and it goes back to a comfort level. My enjoyment right now is the fact that eUnited, they're going to start trying to figure out their struggles tonight. I think this is a good map selection for eUnited because they can try to solidify a Ritual that they can use against some of the other teams that maybe not have played it as much, but they need to get some executions under their belt. And we saw what happened last time they played Execution on Tomb. They got head rocketed out there. They need to get some more reps on that map in a high pressure, high value situation. And while Hive doesn't have any wins, you still got the pressure ratcheted up because it's a pro league match.
It's true, and that pressure is going to potentially make some teams crumble. I'm curious if it will be Hive. I don't think it's going to be eUnited. Speaking of which, let's talk about our predictions for this one. And I think it's going to be kind of the same way that it was with Pioneers versus Fire Knights just a little bit earlier. I think we're all going to be going for the same team, and at least for my team, I have to be going with eUnited, okay? I know the social media manager in chat's not going to be happy with that. He never is happy when I go with him, win or lose. He's always got to roast me. He came in here blasting the Free Flexions thing, all right? Someone made a Twitter called Free Flexions. Not a fan of that guy. I don't know who it is. It might be Colby. I'm actually going to keep my eye out for him because he was the first one to like that tweet. But regardless, though, I'm going to eUnited. Colin, who are you going? Colin, who are you going for? Come on, why am I even asking you that question? It's such a dumb question. Yeah, look at the hat. There it is. You already knew it. Hey, did I really even have to ask chat? You know he's the biggest eUnited fan, all right? You knew he's number one. Chat, who are you going with? I think it's going to be eUnited across the board, okay? It's going to force the team of Hive to go big. And you know what? That's fair because Hive hasn't got a win yet. They still have to prove themselves. Now, make no mistake, though, people, or Hive specifically, are tired of people sleeping on them. But again, people are going to sleep on you unless you perform well. So this is, in my opinion, a must win for them. And if they do win it, their stock's going to go through the roof, and they're trying to avoid relegation. And Oxygen is they got 2 wins. So we are now on our second to final week, which means Hive is going to have to pull up and go big. EU Social Manager, you guys getting this? Because you are getting the premium gas from Colin when it comes to the hat, and he is showing it off. In fact, he's not taking it off. He's going to keep it on. Fair enough. I got to say, that's the first time I've seen you keep it on. Normally, you put it on and then take it off. Are you going to rock it the entire series?
Yeah, why not? You know,
All right.
Why not? Look,
all right.
I just want you to know, like, I still can't believe everybody doubted me a few weeks ago between the Pioneers and eUnited. Everybody heard me say clear as day that I was picking matchup, and I just don't know why everybody doubted it. I don't even know why they put a question mark graphic up there. We all heard it. We all heard it the first time.
No. What was that series that you're talking about with the question mark?
Yeah, the Pioneers played eUnited, and you know, they for some reason nobody heard me say any words.
No. I want it to be known right here, right now. He put the question mark, but what you guys don't know is he went for the Pioneers. He did not go eUnited. I'm not going to expose him by taking a screenshot of the chat. Everybody, when Pioneers played against eUnited, Colin voted for the Pioneers. We just put the question mark up there. But last second, he went the Pioneers. So eUnited, feel betrayed if you want, but I promise you, he did not go eUnited that series. That's a fact. That is a stone cold fact. You call me out all the time, so I had to call you out. I don't even care.
Lies, slander, libel if he writes it down. I'm telling you right now.
Don't make me take the screenshot. I swear I will, bro. And I think you capitalized Pioneers too, all the way through. That's how confident you were they were going to lose. Hey, now
I think I said it. I think I said it under duress. All right, it's like a bad confession. It was done under duress. You can't use it in the court of law.
Nonetheless, duress or not, you still did it. All right, Hive opens up the map wide by winning the team fight here early on, giving Ness or Cellz that torque bow, and he's got Demise in his line of sights across the map. Now, torque bow on this map, guys, is critical, and your players, aka Cellz or whoever gets their hands on it, are going to be big impact players to help your teammates whether recover a hill or maintain a hill. Demise throws out a nade, and it actually is going to connect on Yachty. So now Cell's connection with the torque bow is going to be that much more important.
There goes the first bolt out, and just revving it up. It's going to be getting some splash damage on the Demise. Quick active off, trying to get another little rev to go. If he gets this to land right next to Kenny, he might be able to get that chunk. Kenny has to roll back. Good job avoiding that original shot, the damage. There's the shot of the cover, and now he's full red, but that's all three bolts out. Good little angle from Powerz there to try to get that shot over the top. Little reaction shot gets one. Stutter step gets a second. Powerz, he gets two big kills to keep this hill neutralized for a while. And looks like eUnited said, all right, you win the first one, we'll rotate over. It's going to be 30-0 after this original hill. Can eUnited come back here in P2?
Still early on, 30 points isn't a large gap really to overcome. I think they're going to be just fine. You go back to the first series between KCP and F&I, right? That district matchup, the first hill on Cinema went very well for F&I. eUnited, though, prioritized the rotation on the next one, but I guess it's not exactly the same, is it? Because Hive, they win the second team fight, and they will secure the hill for themselves on the next one. Great start coming out from Cellz. 2 kills, 6 assists. He also even has some OBJ kills and 6 caps. So Cellz is putting in a ton of work. He also had that torque bow early on, so shout out to him. Cellz is a guy that, I mentioned early on during the pre-talk that Hive is a team that is getting tired of people doubting them and underestimating them. And Cellz, in my opinion, is the tip of the spear for being annoyed at that fact. And Cellz is a guy you can't sleep on no matter how bad or how much Hive has been losing. Cellz is an X factor. If he's performing well, hey, Hive is going to be performing well.
And Hive needs to be able to continue to lean on a guy like Ness, who's going to be able to get a lot of kills. He's going to be able to pressure out a lot of players. This hill's been highly contested, so I don't even know if you're going to get, halfway back into this before you have to start rotating. Kenny's looking across to try to get a torque bow shot out. He's not going to find anybody with the first one. Now he's got 3 bolts left. He's got to worry about his teammates rotating into this next hill. Powerz is going to be waiting on that pillar. Any kill that Kenny can get right here is absolutely massive for his squad. But they got to be careful not to get dropped off as they try to rotate through this ritual, through this altar area. It's going to be a 3v3 bottom side of the map. Nest with a big throw with a frag grenade onto Powerz. Can he find it? No, it's just off to the side. Powerz takes the pillar again.
Ooh, nice job from the guy, the player to watch right heading in to this series. Beautiful two-piece, holding his ground, forcing Hive, at least the last remaining player, to try and make a move, and make moves he will. Cellz doubles back around, takes down Kenny. And now coming in from the front end with the help from his players from the back. And seems to be paying dividends until that bit of a misroll straight into Powerz, who is playing like the Grim Reaper as of now. Hive three-man strong, the outside looking in, looking to push through, but not able to do so just yet because Powerz is hitting every snub shot.
I'm curious if my man Powerz is using those Syndrome skins, because they were the skins that came out about the time Powerz made his rookie debut for Echo Fox, and I know they ended up getting their own team skins, but that's a skin that came out right about the same time, and I'm like, I wonder if that's just like synergy for him, like he's just feeling it again. Big couple of kills come through. Demise and Kenny, they bully out the two players of Hive out of the hill. Finally, eUnited's in a position to try to retake here, where they're going to be able to get the point lead, get in their favor with another 10 or 12 seconds. They've got 35 or so, so it looks like they're going to not just get the lead, they're going to try to mount up a 15 to 20 point lead before they leave this hill and rotate toward the next mid-neutral hill.
Yachty, hand over the face. Demise takes an advantage to at least get a couple of shots. TJ needs to watch out. Cellz is on his flank, and in fact, Cellz looks as if he's going to take him down, forcing Demise to push up, who will fall. Like I said, guys, Cellz is truly going to be your X factor, but watch out. Powerz, like I called him the Grim Reaper earlier, moving in and taking lives. Just 10 seconds to be fought for, and it's definitively going to be won, at least scrap time-wise, for eUnited. Now they're going to go ahead and rotate off. But they're going to have to face Hive, who has now established themselves on the fresh hill. And it's not going to be a clean retake per se, because you got a couple of players you got to deal with. Yachty and Ness up ahead. But TJ hits some great shots. Cellz will fall. Yachty now is about to be pincered in between TJ and Demise. He's out of the way, and TJ can move up with the torque bow. One nade's gone, so he doesn't have to deal with that one. And immediately connects on a thing, too, forcing Lava to clutch up. He can't. And a fresh hill, basically, going over towards eUnited as they gain a first foothold, or at least for the first time, it seems, in this map.
TJ's trying to get this extra shot on. I love the L triggers. 3 L triggers get enough pellets to get that down. Now they're going to allow that player to be down. They haven't gotten the out yet, but TJ's going to find the active torque shot onto one. Now tries to find the other. He's going to get it on top of that rock. Splash damage on a thing, too. Powerz rotates through the wide angle. They get another kill onto him. Multiple players spread out for Hive. They don't make a team retake, and they get picked off one after the next, and they're going to have to come off a respawn and try again.
Oh, this Cellz is dead to right here. Surely, right? Good connection. TJ gets away without even dropping. Good on him. That's going to force Hive now to make a 3-man push if they want to fully commit to it. I think there's 20 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, 25. Yeah, they're going to back off of this for sure, and Powerz is hightailing it out as he's being pressured by player 6. And Powerz will die. Yachty will pick him up, but there's going to be a refresh from Demise to fight for the next torque. Well, I do assume TJ holding his ground against Lava, and Thing 2 continue to push it for the scrap time to keep it as competitive as possible. Kitty, though, nice double back to take down Lava. Thing 2, the only one to get through at this point, and he's going to be in a 1v2 now. On the opposite end, you got Powerz and Demise who are now going to be fighting off against Yachty and Cellz. A lot of moving pieces here. Hive, though, starting to fall pretty behind. So this is a hill they need to close that eUnited. If they lose this, eUnited could take a scary lead.
eUnited's holding on to what their positioning is. They try to give Powerz some advantage there going into that little back alleyway fight. Now it's going to be up to Demise to super bounce his way into that hill. He's going to go down. TJ's there for the flank and the kill, and now the gruesome twosome, former members of Hive themselves, will finish off one more kill, and oh, looky, it's like Christmas for Powerz as he finds himself a torque bow just hanging out on the ground. And I think that's the Cupid bow. I think that's the torque bow tag from Cupid's from the Valentine's Day event. He's just trying to get a little, little stick right there with that beautiful heart-shaped bow. Come on now. I
actually like that. Cupid bow, right? Torque bow shoots arrows out. Okay, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out, but I mean, still, he is making some good shots. At least splash damage. Ooh, I think he just missed. Yeah, if he gets it a little bit deeper there, that would have been great. But hey, works out on the second one, does it not? And like I said, for eUnited, they retake that hill. They're going to take a scary lead, and that's come to fruition. Demise, watch out, buddy. All hot air as he pushes out. Cellz easily takes him down. Doesn't amount to much, though, does it? eUnited still gets to scrap time. They're going to be at the 180 mark, 79. Hive's got to start to get the work here, Colin. I've been seeing a lot of impressive plays from them, a lot of great kills coming out their way, but it doesn't matter how good you are at slaying out if you're not doing it on the hill.
Kenny is trying to bounce in. He's going to look for the angle. He's just checking those back cubbies to make sure that nobody is hiding in the wings, waiting in the wings. Thing 2 is going to get angled out here because that's exactly what Kenny's job was to find that player in the spawn, make sure that nobody could flank him out. Good job there, getting some help from TJ as well. They have the hill yet again, up over a 100-point lead now. They're starting to crack this open like an egg, and they're going to continue to run it up. If they can get just one good defensive stand here, you're going to see them well over 200 points to 79. This could get ugly if they can get one set of slays right here. Flash in on a Demise. Demise pulls back. He's going to leave the hill entirely, allow the rest of the players from Hive to play up into it. TJ goes for the shot on Ness, gets the full spread, but not the down of the dead. Powerz will clean him up. Now Kenny and Powerz versus 3 players from Hive. Goes for one back A, gets some damage. Now Powerz will drop his smoke. Quickly picked off by Lava. Good job there by Hive to get a retake. They will finally break the 100-point marker. But Ness, he needs to win a fight here against TJ over the Torque to try to claim another power weapon for the side of Hive.
Yeah, this would be a big win. TJ was deadly with the Torque Bow last time he had it in his hands. Getting it out of TJ's possession would be huge here. Still, though, Cellz up and fighting. TJ creating the distance, allowing Powerz to get up behind him. TJ, like I said, scary with the Torque Bow. He now has it in his possession, and this is not what Hive needed because they're already down 101 points. eUnited well on their way to the 300 threshold to take map number 1. Yachty's got some nades in hands, and as the new hill's going to be coming into play relatively shortly, those nades could be great to have, especially because Hive are the ones who need to get the break.
What I think TJ is going to do here is I think he needs to go for the splash damage. Not really. I don't know if he knows Yachty has those nades, and he's going to know now that Yachty's thrown one. If TJ can get out of position here and not die to the first one, he can use splash damage to stop those frags from being effective whatsoever. Misses the first bolt. He's going to have to back up. Good retake again by Hive. TJ pulls back in with a snub, tries to get as much damage as he can on that player as he up-A's, and Yachty will get one, bounces around, and almost gets 2, but gets taken down and goes dead. Here comes the flank. Kenny will have 1. Kenny will roll in. He's going to get the L triggers out. Enough of a distraction and enough damage placed out for the rest of the players. That'll be the side of Demise and Powerz to clean up the rest of those players or the one egghead Kenny bounce in the hill.
Kenny bouncing the hill, 45 seconds remaining. eUnited well on their way to making, or at least breaking the 250 mark. Hive was winning great team fights off the rip. Now they've kind of started to cool down. This is a big team fight, but obviously helped them out. eUnited's been, double the points of Hive for quite some time now, Colin, which obviously isn't a good place to be. Thing 2 has dropped. He's back into the fight. It's a straight-up 4v4 fight. Another one down. Yachty's finished off. Cellz will follow suit. Lava tries to even up the odds a bit, but it's going to be short-lived as he ends up losing. And another team fight won from eUnited. That did start off a bit cooler than they are now as they're running hot, it seems. And I said they'll be at about the 250 mark. It's about where they are going to be, at least as of shortly. Demise will pick up the nades. He's going to need them. eUnited is the ones who now need to get the break. This could very well be the final hill. Hive needs to hold on tight.
Take a look at that real quick. Because of the fact that they got one player killed off there, Demise spawned by where the frags respawned. Got a free pick on him, no damage put against him. And because eUnited was still holding on to that last hill, they had a free pick on the respawned Torque Bow. They had all the power weapons to go for a retake. They wipe away the 2 players from Hive that are playing defense in the backside of the hill all the way toward the spawn. They're back into the back in the saddle. They definitely have control here, and if you're Hive, you cannot wait for another set of respawns. You can't wait for power weapons to come back. You're going to have to go with this default and get a couple of kills.
Still enough points on this hill for eUnited to win this map outright off of this one. Powerz, Torque Bow in hand, sends it flying on the ground. It doesn't resort to much, but it at least backs Hive off of it to give eUnited that much closer to 300. I think this is going to be the end. I'm looking at Thing 2, just needs to desperately push up, but the pressure's so real, and Hive nowhere close to getting a touch. It's going to be over with 300 to 120. That start from Hive was impressive, guys. They won the big team fights. Actually, they won 2, I think 2 or 3 consecutively. But overall, as eUnited started to warm up, it just simply wasn't enough. Great plays from Cellz. And like I said, honestly, big plays for multiple members of Hive. But team-wise, they started to play more as individuals as the rounds or as the map continued. And that's kind of been the reoccurring issue, at least that I've been saying about Hive. And I think something you even said, and I strongly believe it was about Hive. It could have been about a different team. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Hive is a team that is still trying to find their identity.
Yeah, they really are. You saw how aggressive they were in the opening salvo, and got a decent amount of points. And then all of a sudden, the retake started coming through for eUnited. And next thing you know, they had no answer for that when eUnited got just as aggressive as them. And then Hive said, all right, we'll over-rotate. We'll play a little defensively. They got killed yet again. That is just a situation where they can't decide who and what they want to be and who they are.
Which is tough. The caliber of players they have on this roster is truly impressive. But eUnited's a tough team. They really are. It has to be teamwork. It has to be teamwork where they're falling apart. It really does, because you can see how strong they were off the start. I think that's the big thing. You could see how strong they were off the start. Did you finally see the picture that they threw up there, or were you laughing at the replay?
Oh, I did it. I'm the one that put the picture up there.
Huh?
What? You didn't know I could do that? You didn't know I can summon Kenny at any moment. I can summon
technology is getting like you're getting a good foothold on it.
No, I just summoned Kenny. I don't know how I did it. I just felt it in my heart that I needed to have my framed picture of Kenny, and there it was.
And just so you guys know, that's probably a scene that he set up early on. That's how much dedication he has for Kenny.
I added it to my webcam scene, so at any given moment, I may summon Kenny. Like, oh, I feel bad. Frame picture of Kenny.
I am genuinely impressed you did that. I'm not gonna lie, Colin. Hey, well done, brother. You're learning. You're getting educated over there, brother. Whew, all right. Back on track, 300 to 120. That's a rough loss for Hive early on. Tomb Execution, though. Now, going back to your original point when we were discussing that map, I think you said Hive had been struggling on this map. Am I correct, or were you saying that in regards to eUnited?
eUnited has been struggling on Tomb.
That's what I thought.
They took a heavy loss on it. They got swept. It was 6-0. And I like the fact that they look at Hive and they say, look, we got a chance to kind of put Tomb Execution on there. We lose the map. Okay, whatever. We can go to map 3 and try to get a 2-1 map count lead. But this does give us a chance to try to manipulate the fights we want, maybe throw some different angles, throw some different strats at Hive to see what works. Throw some spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Sorry, didn't expect you to say spaghetti, but food references from Colin is a common thing. Yeah, the benefit for Hive on Tomb is the fact that it's not necessarily team-oriented as other maps are. You do have a lot more individual lanes, which if you've been paying attention to what we've been saying about Hive, they play individually based quite well. Again, I think there was great performances even on the previous map from Cellz. Cellz was tearing it up. Saw a lot of great plays from Yachty. Had good moments himself. Big plays like that when it comes from individuals is going to be tremendous. You're thinking about the fight for Sniper. You're thinking about the fight for Torquebow. Could open up a door for a victory. My only concern is I do believe eUnited is going to be more powerful in the mid fights. And if I do at least remember the last time eUnited played Tomb here, to give them credit, Kenny was very powerful in the team fight in mid, Colin, and he opened up a lot of doors for eUnited to be successful. So Kenny could very well be the guy that could open up at least a door to victory for eUnited throughout that mid fight, which has become all the most important, more so than even the Torquebow and the Sniper fight.
Well, what I want to see right here is on checkout. You know how Thing 2 has usually played the 1v for the frag grenades on checkout for Hive? I want to see, because I don't think I've ever seen Hive play this map with my own two eyes, really. I mean, they might have played it while you and Blaze, or you and Jacob, or Jacob and Blaze, whoever it might have been. It might have been for somebody else, but I have yet to see where exactly they take these fights, how they take these fights, and what they want to do in this situation. So I want to see what Thing 2 does, which position he plays, and how they play around him. Because if I'm eUnited, I just take a page out of everybody else's book and say, oh, he's going to play up top. He's going to play the 1v. We're going to solo him out. Get a little pressure on him. Take him out, make it a 4v3. If I am Hive, I'm leaving Thing 2 in the middle of the map. Allow him to be a Lancer. Allow him to be a support and a voice.
Fair enough. eUnited big map win if they take this. Curious to get your opinion on training grounds a little bit later. I do assume eUnited obviously is going to be the favorite on that map. At least they are, at least in my mind. But we could see maybe a decent performance from Hive there. Being down 2-0, though, against any team is definitely somewhere you don't want to be. And for Hive, they could run that risk after they've already lost Ritual 300 to 120. You can't get rattled by that fact, though, right? That's a big loss, 180-point loss. But again, you can't get rattled by that. Looking at Cellz to open up a lot of doors for Hive. He's going to be opposite of Demise, and Cellz isn't going to be shy about getting his hands on the torque bow early on. Great job from him, and a beautiful shot will send Powerz down to the ground, but he gets back up. He's got the sniper. So both teams will trade out power weapons and a lot of moving pieces. Demise will be first blooded.
Demise gets first blooded down toward that torque. Ness looking across the map, trying to find somebody, just rotating around. He's gonna get flanked here by Kenny, and he goes down, and now Kenny has the torque. Both power weapons back in the hands of eUnited. Misroll from Yachty, loses his head with a shot to the cranium, to the dome, takes him down, puts him on the ground. Now it's going to be a 2v2, Kenny and Powerz.
Oh, no.
Versus Lava and Thing 2, but I don't know if they know that. Okay, there we go.
He can do this.
Settled up, saddled up. This is a big fight for Thing 2.
Big fight indeed. This is going to be a great clutch and really an opportunity to bring things back. Powerz hits a nice shot. Now he just needs to hit one more. Thing 2, though, getting his health back slowly but surely. Powerz trying to get every angle he possibly can. Another good shot. Powerz worked that 1v1 in that cover to perfection. Great job. A lot of good things went right there for eUnited. Powerz being one of them. Obviously, Thing 2 almost had a good clutch play, but once Powerz hit that shot, brought it down to a 2v2, made things way more manageable, and even going further back than that, Kenny catching Cellz off the flank and dropping the torque bow on the ground was critical in the success of eUnited there. And that is a round that, in my opinion, they sneak by, as Hive had a good advantage off the rip.
I think what really sent that on its head was the fact that they got the flank off with Kenny, and he was able to kill Ness and take that torque bow away. Ness could have held down that angle and that side of the map. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Did you see how quickly Powerz tried to outmaneuver, just muscle out Thing 2, and now Powerz going to get 3v1. They're revving the torque. Demise gets a kill on the bottom of the map at a 2v1. Now the two players you brought into that fight to try to protect Thing 2 is going to cost you with a 2v1 down low. Now Ness gets 2v1'd. This was just brilliant tacticianship out of eUnited. They kept finding the fights that they had a man advantage in, and they just took it. They took every single angle over the side of Hive. Yes, they're going to knot this up at 2-2, or 2 versus 2, excuse me. But I mean, the way that this started, there's no way that Hive should have even been in this situation.
I agree. I do. That should have been a round that they just kind of run away with, especially with Powerz. Powerz should have died, in my opinion. When that torque bow was revving, you've got another member closing that gap around the corner. Like, Powerz was dead to rights, in my opinion. But the fact that he gets out of there is a big blunder for Hive as a whole. That is a round that I absolutely agree, Colin. That round should have been won much earlier from Hive, and it should have been not even earlier, but in general.
I just don't know if there's going to be. I don't know if there's a miscommunication, because Thing 2 gets pressured. They send 2 extra players, 2 extra bodies over there, and instead of just flying at Powerz to try to get him off of the map, they allow him to get away, and then they get 2v1'd in 2 different positions. Now it's a 2v2 bottom side of the map. Penny's gonna drop Thing 2 on a flying dive, but he gets one. He's gonna get traded out, excuse me. Now it's 3v1. Yachty, big body shot there. Missed up A, turns and burns. 2 more players to worry about, but Powerz is just staying ungodly wide. I mean, he was not going to give Yachty any situation to get a kill there in that immediate vicinity.
3-0 lead for the boys of eUnited. They're not slowing down at all. It's been an impressive performance. The shining star, if you had to pick one for Hive at this point, is actually Thing 2. You know, he's got 4 kills. Statistically, he's performing the best. I don't know damage-wise. Yeah, damage-wise, in fact. And, you know, we put a lot of pressure on Thing 2, and I think for good reason. You know, that coach transferring over to play with the big boys. You know, he's incredibly intelligent mechanically. You know, I think he's decent too, but... He's definitely starting to flex his muscles on this map, especially with Yachty in this mid fight. But either way, no blood is going to be shed. Just a lot of damage done. Thing 2 will finally fall. First blood now going over to the way of TJ as he will finish off Cellz. The tip of the spear, at least it should be. He hasn't had the most impressive performance here on Tomb, but Sniper outlining it up, and that's going to connect. And he really did split the difference, didn't he, between his eUnited members?
My man just played Protect the President. He said, I know you're going for a flank. I get it. But the second you come out of cover, I'm going to do everything I can to take your head clean off your shoulders. 4 rounds in a row for eUnited. 2 rounds away from a 2-0 lead. Hive, they are struggling to adapt to whatever eUnited wants to throw at them. eUnited has thrown a couple of different looks. The early quick pick on the long shot twice out of eUnited in Powerz' hands. Once answered with the shock to get it down. The second time, not in time, not even close. And then, of course, Powerz with the over-rotation through the middle in round number 2 there to try to pressure out Thing 2. It's just, it has been a couple of different little missteps. I just don't know what the communication is like on Hive. I wish I could be in those comms right now.
I do too, for multiple reasons. I really do want to, or at least have the ability to kind of hear what they're thinking about, what's going through their minds. It honestly would answer a lot of questions that we definitely bring up. Opportunity for Hive to finally win a round, and it pretty much is going to be solidified with that kill on Kenny. Demise is going to fall, and Hive will, in fact, finally stop the. I don't know if they stopped the bleeding. At least it's trickling at this point. 1-4. A lot of work still needing to be done. eUnited on the cusp of leading 2-0 in this series. But for Hive, maybe, just maybe, they finally found a breakthrough.
Hive didn't send anybody to the torque bow. They didn't play double power weapons. They actually pressured right through the tree area of the map, tried to get that initial pressure through the tree there at the long shot, and then found a couple of kills early to give them an advantage. Once again, nobody playing down toward the torque bow for Hive. eUnited has to answer back. This has been the play call twice now for Hive, and eUnited slow to the punch here. They don't have anybody on that flank that has that 90-degree angle to be able to lancer out these players, but here comes Kenny flying in for the help. Couple of down and dead already. It's going to be a 3v1 and a back A from Powerz. Finishes off Lava. 1 round to go. And that is what happens when you get a little over-aggressive there at the tree. You send too many people there in the middle of the map. 3 of you are bunched up. And if you don't get a down or a kill to try to be able to spread back out, to be able to not get crossed out, to be basically become fish in a barrel, you are going to get slaughtered right there on those mid-cubbies. eUnited was slow to get to that 90-degree, but the second they got up into the fight, they brought Demise in as a 4th player to angle out. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Hive was down and dead before they could blink an eye, and 1 kill already on the board for eUnited here in round number 7.
But answer back just as quickly. Lava taking down Powerz, and Lava will also finish up a second. An opportunity for Hive to bring it 2-5 is here. Good body shot, but Kenny still gets away. Torque bow not in anyone's hand from eUnited as of yet, so maybe if they get that, there's going to better their chances. For Hive, don't get too overzealous because this 2v2 could in fact put this round out of your hands. Demise and Kenny will try to reposition themselves as quickly as they possibly can, but they're getting pinned up. Lava keeping the pressure up, and the torque bow is going to be in the hands of Yachty. This is a round that Hive should absolutely win, at least in my opinion, unless we see a monumental collapse.
Kenny has dodged literally everything down here. He's dodged 3 long shot bolts, 2 torque bow shots, partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, no.
There's a 1v1. Thing 2 is running. He gets killed by Demise. And Demise now is going to get crossed up by the other 2 players from Hive, but Lava misses another long shot. He misses yet another shot out of that snipe. He's finally going to go down to the 2v1. It took forever and a day, but now we see that Kenny will find himself.
Good shot.
Lava needed to hit 1, and the one that he hit was the one that counted.
But brother, like, down. That was, I mean, even that moment was closer than it should have been. Demise did a great job bringing it to a 2v, but still wasn't enough. I mean, a torque bow and a long shot and the round goes that long? It's just not making Hive look any better, at least in my opinion. But hey, they're still alive, and messy as it still was a victory. Can Hive continue to keep the ball rolling? Powerz, just as he's always been, just as aggressive in mid, but this time will fall. He's back into the fight. Second down and out. There's the third. He's finished off. First blood going to the way of Hive. TJ tries to answer back. Not going to happen. And another clean round coming towards Hive. And this time, that was a very quick round, and honestly, the cleanest round we've seen Hive win yet.
That's what I would call a good defensive play call there from Hive. They basically had to play a little bit of a guessing game. What was eUnited going to try in this round? And they dialed up the correct defense. It's like when somebody tries to run the ball right up the gut, and you got 8 in the box, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, somebody's blitzing. The free safety's coming down the middle of the A gap, and you can't even get somebody to the line of scrimmage. You can get lost for yardage tackles out here. I love that out of them. They said eUnited's going to try to power rush Powerz through the middle of the map. We're going to play it defensively. Ness is going to try to get back into the backside of that cubby. The shock is going to do enough damage to help the cross, and that's going to be the first kill for them. eUnited, they answer back. They change up the style a little bit, and a little bit of a style change and a little bit of a record scratch. They find themselves up 4-3 here. Body shot there in the middle of the map. Powerz finds one. Yachty all by himself gets slid straight through by Powerz. Lava last alive. Lava down. Lava out.
6-3 victory. eUnited leads 2-0 over that of Hive at this point in time. Will Hive finally get their legs underneath them on the third map of Training Grounds? Well, it's yet to be seen. Powerz, MVP 2 maps in a row. Player to watch for a reason, guys, and he's been having a fill day. 12 kills, 5 assists, 8,900 damage. Absolutely instrumental in that mid fight, and obviously giving control over towards eUnited. Like I said, map number 3, Training Grounds Escalation, will be coming up after this. Welcome back, everybody. Gears Pro League Split 1, Day 7. eUnited takes a 2-0 lead after winning Ritual 300-120 and Tomb 6-3. We did see life from Hive, I think more so on Tomb than we did on Ritual, but still not enough to get the edge over EU.
EU, to me, did a good job of calling. It's going to sound really strange to a lot of people, but I think that execution has taken a page out of classic Execution's playbook, and you're seeing more teams adapt it, what I would call offensive play calling, where you're going to set every round or round to round on certain maps. You'll try something just a little different. We saw it with the Pioneers, where they switched up going from platform to trying to be over aggressive toward that middle lane in the first matchup at checkout. Here on Tomb, it went from a Powerz quick pick to a Powerz over aggression in the middle, to all of a sudden they're going to do 2 deep at the torque bow and try to overload the bottom side of the map. eUnited kept coming to the line of scrimmage with a different play call. They rolled out of spawn, and they did a great job of trying to keep Hive guessing of what it was they wanted to do. Those are the marks of teams that deep into a tournament on Sunday can upset some teams and can really make some noise, because if you have that many different looks on Execution, you make it difficult for a team to assume or guess what it is you're going to do.
And the important distinction to take note of, guys, is sometimes you give out a different look and it's not successful, but because you gave that different look, you're still, as Colin said, keeping the other team guessing. And that's an important thing to take note of, guys. You know, at times it is doing a bit too much. And I know Blaze is constantly saying, you know, for certain rosters, you know, stop doing too much, go back to your ABCs. But in this case, eUnited, they're feeling in control, they're feeling confident. They have no reason to not feel confident heading into Training Grounds Escalation after the 2 great victories they've had on Ritual and Tomb. Now, eUnited doesn't play TG as often. In fact, we don't see TG. Well, no, we've been seeing TG, I think, more often now than we were seeing in the beginning. In the beginning, literally all we would see, Colin, was Vaskar. But Harbor and Training Grounds has started to, you know, rear its head. And I do believe that's simply because more diversity is good, especially heading into the majors. So teams are wanting to get a leg up on certain maps in case they do have to play that on the next main event. So I get it. Training Grounds, though, is a fun one to watch, and I'm trying to rack my brain about how successful Hive has been here, and I really don't know. Actually, I would have to go back and look at the stats, but either way, though, this is not going to be an easy one for Hive, just from what I've been looking at. And with with Hive not being strong identity-wise, you know, Escalation doesn't get any easier.
Hey, Taylor, I'm going to give you a little throwback just for a hot moment. You see here on round 1, Player 4 and player 8 both went to the B hill, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You saw that. That's why nobody got into that hill until somebody came up the middle stairwell. They had to bring Yachty up the middle stairwell, put him into the God spot so that he could lancer out anybody that tried to drop over the cover. The fact that you send 2 people in that direction opens up the overlook so that player playing toward the hill can still get lancered out. But that's what we saw the difference with the Pioneers was earlier. When they sent precision, their precision could hop early and get a quick enough cap to force somebody out of their position. Lava's going to have to try to get back into this C hill. One player is going to get there for the touch and time. It's going to be a 2v2, now 2v3 in that situation. Down comes out, answering back in this. Now they get the revive. Now they get one more kill. 2v1 on the thing two. Quick revive comes through. Now that's going to be a 2v1 on that first player respawning up. It's going to be Demise and Kenny getting the down on Ness. Ness gets cleaned up. No time for Lava to get there, I don't believe, unless he just head down straight at the hill. Not going to be in time with the double cap coming through. eUnited, definitive round 1 for them.
Great job from them. And like you said, definitive, despite an audible being placed out from the Hive. And you kind of, made it akin to that Fire and Ice KCP matchup, which was working for F&I. Still, eUnited's not going to waste an opportunity like that. When they have a definitive man advantage and they know it on that overlook, they're going to use that to their advantage. And one thing that I did appreciate is eUnited didn't let the fact go that B was being overloaded. They let a player from overlook actually lancer out. Instant placement after round 1 given to the sniper in hell from Hive. They want to change this fight up instantly. They're not comfortable with how it's been. And you know what? The sniper has been seeing a lot of placement in hell as of recently. Got to commit to it, though. And something tells me eUnited are going to be the favorite ones in this fight because TJ's already in there and Kenny is laying down a barrage of bullets. And TJ, well, he's out pretty much unscathed.
He's going to get over toward that U fight, and while there's a little trade here, one player dead for each team, the 2-to-1 hill advantage will go in favor of eUnited, and eUnited's going to have 2 players mounted up here at B, trying to hold off any kind of retake position. Ness is going to bounce around, another missed shot from TJ, and then TJ tries to put himself in position to get the back A off. He's not going to be able to get that, so now Hive looks like they're going to try to overload toward the C hill, but Powerz gets one quickly, now tries to roadie strafe up into Thing 2 space. He's going to get killed off. Home-to-home stretch will come through for Hive momentarily, but eUnited's in danger because they had the B hill neutralized, so now eUnited has to find a retake somewhere on the map. 2-to-1 hill advantage in favor of Hive now, but it's a home-to-home stretch, and there is no long shot to take back in favor of eUnited, but it looks like, oh, Kenny's going to have to be quick here because he's going to get either over-rotated on or flanked out momentarily. And it looks like he's going to get away with his life, and he's going to be able to rotate toward that middle stairwell, toward the God spot, and help out anybody that tries to jump into that B hill.
Now looking, well, it's close. Hive obviously forced to fight now for positioning if they can get it. It's curious where their game plan is going to be. I assume it's going to be with Lava and Cellz to push in onto B. Right now, the only player you have to deal with, at least at first, is going to be TJ. Kenny, though, making an adjustment. That's going to be a good play call. He immediately goes to God spot, and Hive now either can double back and challenge Kenny, or they're just going to stay put where they're at and give Demise the opportunity to get that off angle and get some good shots. Stun does come out, though, and Demise isn't able to fire anything off. Therefore, gives the advantage right back over towards Hive. They get the break on B, and Hive has a lot of real estate on the map.
They have a lot of area they can work to or move to right now, and I'll be curious to see what they do with it. You see Hive with a 2-to-1 hill advantage, and now they're pretty much set up just past the 50-yard line. Cellz is going to move into that closet now. He's going to be waiting on what could be a respawned long shot. He throws the flash, picks up the long shot. He's going to get challenged by TJ here momentarily. Demise is going to go down over at the B hill. Quick revive out from him, but TJ wins that fight. Now it's a 2v1 at B, and I think you're going to see TJ go for a flat fly at A. They need to get this kill quickly on a Lava. They do get that. Now Powerz playing up at his home hill. One big shot out on both players, but won't be able to get either kill. 2-to-1 hill advantage going back over to eUnited, but there is going to be a bit of a back and forth, a bit of a tug of war here as no points were going in favor of Hive for just a moment. That is enough time for them to catch back up, and now eUnited, they have a chance to win this round. There's less than 3 seconds. What were you doing going for those kills and not getting on the...
Yeah, well... honestly, I don't think it mattered, Colin, because no one from Hive was going to be able to get onto B in time. So it was kind of one of those things, square up, go for the fight. But at the end of the day, it's not going to amount to much. Even win or lose that fight, it really didn't matter.
Yeah, just it's the smarter play, the play that shows that you're still in the fight really is the one of getting the neutralization and possibly lancering those two players holding the cubby. That's why eUnited didn't move. Those players knew it was basically over, so they were allowing you to head down at them just in case there was a chance for anybody to get on B. It wouldn't have mattered because those players ran right through their home hill and didn't get a neutralization there. So it's just one of those things. Those are the plays that frustrate me as somebody that tries to break this down so analytically. Whether or not the numbers say you had a chance, you can still make what I would say is the right play. And padding your stats is not the right play.
Round number 3, bit of a tense fight here, and well, not tense anymore. Thing 2 now, and a bit of a standoff. Kenny on the opposite end. Torquebo is going to be in Powerz' hands. The cherry on top for eUnited would be getting that sniper. Thing 2 goes for a push. Both will trade out big shots. Kenny ultimately will die and fall away, but Thing 2 isn't going to stop or double back. He's going to go straight over, but not going to get too far. Good connection and the domination just like that. I actually didn't even have my eyes on the hills. I was so focused on what Thing 2 was going to be up to, but now it makes sense why he was hightailing it straight to the hill, because they were about to lose, and lose they did. That's 3 quick rounds going to the way of EU.
And with a double power weapon on the map now, and eUnited's going to be, both teams are going to have their Retro Lancer here momentarily. I was curious, I was going to say, Hive, no way you're going to do something to that long shot. You got to go to the Retro. You got to try to answer back with that because you don't want to give up the shock too early. You're already down 3-0.
I say put a drop shot on range. Make it as chaotic as possible. Why not? You know, we don't see literally in the first couple of rounds a sniper and a Torquebo place, but it's just the way it is. You know, Hive is really throwing, like you said, spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, and unfortunately nothing has been. Thing 2 hugely aggressive, but he's going to die off. Cellz trying to keep the dream alive. Powerz, though, will shut it down, taking down Yachty. And potentially another quick round. The only difference is eUnited doesn't have anybody who's going for B at this point in time. Player 1's going to deviate. Powerz is going to be over there and left to get this home hill position. Well, actually, no. You know what? Not a bad play from Hive. Instead of just forcing their head against the wall, or banging their head against the wall, rather, onto their home hill, they're going to send the players over to B. But again, this might be short-lived.
TJ's going to hop the cover and drop after the double win there from eUnited. Now Retro in the hands of Demise is going to be able to basically one-shot Lava, get him to a point where it's going to be an easy one-shot down or chunk. They go for the revive now. One more player to really worry about in this situation. They got the domination interrupted yet again. Power's going to go up top of the long shot. Try to finish off one of these players. Body shot out. Demise has a long time to live here, but he's going to finally get picked off. I mean, just a 70-point lead already built up for eUnited, and with Powerz having the long shot, curious. I believe the torque is off a respawn. Nobody has that in their hands right now, so you only have to worry about those 4 rounds left from Powerz in his long shot.
And you can't feel too confident pushing anywhere because you mentioned Powerz with the long shot, 4 sniper rounds in his hand. So Hive, yeah, they've got good positioning. Like I said before, a lot of real estate, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're in a confident spot to make a move, because Powerz commands that much respect, in my opinion, with the sniper. But no matter how confident or not confident you are, you have to push forward because Hive has no choice. Good shots coming out from Powerz, though. Still, Yachty finds an opportunity to at least get a decap, but that's even going to be short-lived, and Thing 2 and Ness will continue to push up. Powerz, though, good body shot. Kenny will answer back with some shots of his own, and this round is pretty much all but over with. eUnited might not get a domination anytime soon, but I don't see Hive making any big plays in the next 18 seconds.
No, and I don't think there's enough time to get across the map over to C. You got to try to get through TJ here and get down to that B hill, and you got to make it from spawn to C hill. There's just not enough time, and it's not going to be. You can't get through this fight quick enough to get to that, to get all the way across to the home hill at eUnited. This should be 4-0 going in to the second half, and eUnited 1 round away from a 3-0 decimation, I would say, in the last 2 maps of Hive. Map 1 was pretty good fight out of Hive. In a lot of situations, they showed glimmers and shines of what they want. Map 2, they couldn't answer for eUnited. Now map 3, I mean, it's as bad as it's going to get.
I think so. I don't see. It is quite sad to really see how one-sided this series has been. To tell you the truth, I do believe in this Hive roster. I love the players that are on it. So I was excited to see them, qualify through the LCQ. It's just unfortunate that they haven't had the biggest impact in Pro League as a whole. And Cellz, you know, love the fact that he's always in chat, always, you know, chatting it up and having a good time and really being that positive guy. But it's just a reality of the spot they're in, you know. Hive, Fire, and Ice still winless and 4-0 on Training Grounds Escalation. So maybe Hive has a heroic comeback, but I haven't seen anything to kind of indicate that at this point. Thing 2 fighting for the sniper. Player 6 Lava making a bit of a move, going for the overextension. He'll be challenged by Demise. The neutral fight, though, is going to be one from eUnited. This might end very quickly in way of domination. This is a must-win fight now for Lava.
Lava's going to bounce around, try to take this 1v here against Demise, but goes down. Triple cap domination rings through, and I mean, Taylor, I don't want to say this, but I don't know anybody that saw something coming differently in this matchup.
No, I didn't. I mean, that's just the truth. You know, again, like it's hard to just lay it on a team that lost like this, but you know, Hive really didn't show much, if I had to be honest with you, in this series, and it's quite disappointing. Because I like the guys that's on the roster. It's always hard to kind of, you know, talk negatively, but plain and simple, straight up, guys, eUnited dominated this series, and they look great. They look great doing it. They look strong. Powerz did his thing, right? He was the player to watch. And, you know, it's tough to see. It really is. But, hey, congratulations to eUnited. That's a solid 3-0 victory. They get another win in their books.
Another dub there on the side of the left-hand column of eUnited. That's what they've got to want to see more of going into these final few weeks, trying to really show that they are not just a team that's going to be, you know, middling around the middle of the pack, really. You don't want to find out come major time that all your hard work has been for naught. So happy for them. Hive still scratching and clawing their way to their first potential victory. That looks like it'll come the way of Fire and Ice when that game finally breaks up that 0-0 or that goose egg record for both of those squads.
You know, the thing is on TG, and this was at least apparent in my eyes, correct me if I'm wrong, Hive didn't feel confident there. And not just because they lost 5-0. Obviously, it's easy to say that afterwards, but I'm talking in regards to round number 1's done with. They place a sniper down. Round number 2 is done with. They place a torque bow. They were really throwing something out there and seeing what stuck, and unfortunately, nothing did. Hive wanted to see if anything could change. Unfortunately, it just quite simply didn't. But again, for eUnited, that was an excellent victory, a dominant victory, and that's just the way it is. But hey, with that series being done with, you could take the hat off, Colin, because we're moving in to another one.